we played 20 of the 25 plays of the first quarter on defense. And, it wasn't an exceedingly hot September day, but it was warm enough down there on the field that we were immediately concerned about what long-range effect that might have on the game. The disparity in plays between the two teams once we got past that first quarter, and part of that obviously was a reason because we had two multiple possessions. We had two defensive stops that were followed by the fake punts, which has the same effect as if the team punted the ball and we dropped it and they recovered it there. And so we had two doubled up possessions that way, which caused that. Once we got past that stage, then it pretty much evened out. And we made a couple quick substitutions. We got Alex Field in at defensive end. We got Marvin Richardson at an outside linebacker for a few plays. But in querying the players who were involved, they all indicated they felt great. They wanted to stay in. And so we took that under advisement and left that in. But we certainly were trying to factor that in, yeah. But amongst the really positive things, I thought that came out of the game was just the way those players responded to that circumstance. It was like, hey, whatever we have to do, that's what we're going to do type of thing. And they did that during the course of the game, too, so I thought it was very positive. Oh, I think it's certainly given there's a pretty good celebration in there, so I imagine they got a pretty good boost from it. There's nothing like winning. The best lessons you get are the lessons when you win. So, and they did a lot of things to give themselves a chance, and they did a lot of things to deserve to win. So those things were all reinforced to them. So it was very good. At this point here, and we have had this here now ever since Marcus Hagan stepped off the field in Nashville, okay, is that we have a circumstance where we have no quarterbacks who really have any game resume to base any decision on that factor. Who plays better in the games? Well, who has played better in the games? Okay, over the brief appearances of any of these quarterbacks in previous years and in a relatively short period of time this season, okay, it'd be pretty difficult to say that anybody has really performed a whole lot better than anybody else or a whole lot worse than anybody else for that matter. So if we had 4 preseason games to play, what we probably would have done would be to have started Olsen in the first game, brought McCabe in the middle of the second quarter, and brought Sewell in the fourth quarter. Then in the second preseason game, we probably would have started McCabe, brought Olsen in the second quarter, in the second half, and not played Sewell. And in the third game, we probably would have started Olsen, brought Sewell in for the second half, not played McCabe. Okay, then we'd have a real good idea, and then we would decide in the fourth game who was going to get most of the action. That's a little bit the phase that we're in, except that the games count. And some people think, well, it's so obvious what we should do at quarterback, but there's a lot of things, a lot of facts that, that people don't know, although it's quite interesting that I'm now getting some suggestions and some insights. This is true from some of the same people who told me that Schaub wasn't fast enough and that Hagen's was too short. So clearly I'm taking those under strong advisement.
Those would be like emails you're getting from fans and stuff?
I don't get my emails. My secretary gets them and throws most of them away. Actually, she wrote on 2 of them, "This guy's back again." So she even recognizes the names. So I'm not saying that, making it up. It's some of the same people who said that Schaub was too slow and that Hagen's was too short. Well, he really brings it every day, whether it's every drill, every playing team period, every rep in the weight room. So those are the things that commitment and work ethic are 2 things that quickly gain, I'd say commitment, work ethic, and toughness are 3 things that quickly gain the respect of most players. In many cases, when a new player comes on a team, that well before they might socially know the player, and that gains a player acceptance. And those are certainly 3 things that are very prominent in John's makeup. Obviously, his production would say that. It's been very high in 2 games. He's been very opportunistic. So there's certainly more challenges to come yet, but had he been off to a less productive start in terms of numbers, it still would have been a very positive start. Well, I have from the outset, Jerry, and I even more now like its upside, that the starting four have a lot of games left in front of them. At a minimum, the one with the shortest amount is Diaz, and he's basically got 2 full seasons left. And so they have a lot of games left in front of them, and they're doing, not fantastic, but they're doing pretty nicely here for kind of out of the chute. First time really Appleby's been heavily in the mix every play, every day. Obviously, it's a brand new deal for Copper. Sintim now is starting to look like what our aspirations and expectations are there. And so the performance has been nice to this spot. I certainly see it as getting a lot better than what it's been, but what is very exciting is what it can become with them with some continuity. We got some young guys who look like they're going to be very good, and we're anticipating some guys coming in the next class who should be able to do quite a bit for us too. Since the day Kevin said that he was coming to school here, I was excited about the skill level that was going to be added to that position, Doug. But obviously now for a young player like that to have done it in the game, and sometimes that's what a young player needs to really break through, have the confidence level, to have seen it happen, that all that practice work can only amount to but so much until they actually see performance in the game. And so now he's seen that, and that ought to give him a significant boost. The other thing that he has to be aware of that have discussed is that all those players that he's going to play against now see him in a different way, that he's somebody to be dealt with. He's got excellent athletic ability, very good eye-to-hand coordination. He's kind of got that, not a very scientific word, kind of that slithery style. That a lot of, if a receiver isn't a power receiver, that is the size-speed combination player where they almost look like they're just too big and too fast to be contained. Then they have to have some of that kind of ability to get in and out of cuts and into openings and whatnot, and he's very good at that. And every time I talk about Kevin, Mike, I think about how he was an excellent scorer in the Catholic High School Basketball League in New York, which, of course, is one of the best high school basketball leagues in the country. And he was an excellent scorer, which you have to be very athletic, have really good eye-to-hand coordination, all the things that go into being a receiver to do that. So when we knew that about him in combination with what we knew about him as a football player, we thought we had a very athletic player there.